Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to tonight's live show. Your headlines tonight. James Mangold to direct Swamp Thing? ? THR, the Hollywood Reporter, have confirmed he is in talks with WB and DC Studios to direct the horror movie that's part of DC Universe's initial slate. Swamp Thing, great director. I would have preferred Sam Raimi, but James is a pretty good director as well, considering he's doing the new indie movie. He did Logan, but is he any good at horror? And James Gunn is asking, trunks or no trunks for Superman? So he's saying it's a bit of fun on Twitter. He's not going to make his mind up over an opinion poll on Twitter, but he is asking that question. I personally don't mind. What do you think? Trunks or no trunks? And Peter Safran says that the Batgirl movie was unreleasable. What I would say about that is, if Batgirl was unreleasable, why didn't you make the effort to make it releasable? Why was it unreleasable? He compliments David Zaslav for having the guts to shelve it. So that's interesting. Walter Johnson, I honestly don't care for the DCU slate. That's your opinion. And here, everyone's entitled to opinions, even ones I don't agree with. But Walter, tell me why you don't care for the DCU slate. Establish your opinion. Tell me why. There must be a reason you're not excited for the slate. I mean, let's talk about it. There's a Swamp Thing horror movie. There's a Batman movie. There's a Superman movie. There's a Supergirl movie. So why aren't you excited? Jonathan Garcia, I'm really excited. Can't wait. JG announced, James Gunn announced, sadly, I'm done with DC. Oh, sorry. So, yeah, where are we? Let me start again. I got lost there and I've got a pop-up. Go away. Right. Yeah, Jonathan Garcia, I'm really excited. Can't wait for Lanterns and Supergirl. Me too. CS the director, I'm not interested in nothing James Gunn announced. Sadly, I'm done with DC. So you're not excited for Superman. You're not excited for Batman. You're not excited for a Swamp Thing horror movie. Why? What did you want him to announce? Abraham Herrera, the thing that makes me more sad is that Keanu Reeves will not be back as Constantine. Well, he's still developing that project, but it pretty much is unlikely that will happen. John, it will be great to finally get a new Supergirl movie. We haven't had one since 1984, but I loved that film, and I fell in love with Supergirl because of that film. But in the comics, she's a much darker character. This is a much darker story. In the comics, she's not just Superman in a skirt. She's a lot more than that. So yes, it is great, John. And I'm very excited they're doing a Supergirl movie. But if you're not excited, don't just tell me you're not excited. Tell me why. MSGT, my excitement isn't about the characters I know. It's about the characters I don't know. New is good. I'm excited for everything. I mean, I think Waller is just a dribble on from what he was developing with his Suicide Squad universe. It's pretty clear he's not going to continue developing Peacemaker and all of that now. He's more focused on the extended universe. So I don't think we're going to get much more after Waller from his Suicide Squad universe. He's already said he can't do Peacemaker 2 because he's writing Superman. He's already written 7 episodes of an animated series that will transfer later on over live action. I think that's a very ambitious idea, to do things in animation, then live action, then in animation, using the same actors. Another really good idea. But for the people who are not excited, I need to know why. Are you biased because you're a Snyderverse fan? Do you not like Batman? Do you not like Superman? You must, as DC fans, there's stuff on that slate that's actually exciting. So why aren't you excited for it? You gotta have a constructive opinion. I love what Zach did, but for me to say I'm not excited because I loved what Zach did, I don't think would be right, because I'm still excited. because I'm not here for a director. Maybe you are, but I'm not here for a director. I'm here for DC. MSGT, they choose not to be excited. Gunn revealed something for everybody. Yes, he did. Now, let's be clear about this. What we got yesterday was a list of titles. They've still got to make these titles great. And that's another thing. But in terms of the slate, and this is just the beginning of Chapter 1, I expect a Green Lantern movie in Part B of Chapter 1. I expect a Wonder Woman movie with a recast in Chapter 1 as well. This is a new broom that's sweeping clean. And something tells me that's why people aren't excited. That's okay. If you love the Snyderverse and your mind's closed to anything else, up to you. I'm not going to dictate what you say and think. But I think when someone says to me they're not excited, I need to know why. I want to have a conversation. This is what this channel's about. Ronnie Dodge, hey Mick, good evening, my main bro. How's it going? What have you got for me tonight? What morsels of information have you got for me tonight? Man United are playing tonight. I won't be watching. I'm here live, committed to the channel. So maybe now and again you can slip me the score. Let's hope we don't fuck that up. John, did you ever watch the 1990s Swamp Thing TV series? Unfortunately, I didn't, John. Any good? Abraham Herrera, in my case, I'm not that excited because it's too far off. Being a Snyder fan has nothing to do with it. I've already made peace with it. It's like starting a new relationship after a breakup. I mean, look. In terms of it being far off, we're talking about 2025. 2 years may seem like a long time. It's actually not even 2 years. I'm excited. I'm excited for the new direction. As DC fans, we've been let down. Think about it, Abraham. During the build-up of the Snyder Cut, we had Zack Snyder and Ray Fisher and Warner Brothers shit-talking each other. It was embarrassing. That's not what anyone should want for DC. But this is new. And James has been very clear that it was run badly before. He's being asked the hard questions and he's not ducking the hard questions. Running on, James Mangold interested in Swamp Thing by the looks of it. Yes, THR are reporting that he's in talks for that. MSGT, I love that he titled Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters. So do I. And that he seems to want to pair up a complementary tone to the character per movie. Yeah, it's different to Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige has a one thing, one groove does all. Basically, but the color palettes, the tones are the same. But what Gunn is saying is, every world will look different. Every movie or TV show or game will look different. As I explained on a video today, it's like when you go to another country, just because it's on the planet Earth, it doesn't mean they use the same brickwork. And, some countries have got, a kind of lightened, palette, if you like. Some are sunny, some are cloudy. So that makes sense. Rewind the Times. I'm not that excited. I'll watch it. I love DC, but I don't like the way he does things. Right, Rewind the Times. That's interesting. Tell me why you don't like the way he does things. In what way? MSGT, the MCU is one rut. I was concerned that Gunn might do that to DCU. He appears to want DC to be DC. Yes, yeah. Look, he's saying this is not the MCU 2.0. But, yeah, he was never... Look, what's exciting is not only are we getting a connected universe, we're getting an Elseworlds. And he also said that the Elseworlds will, the stakes and the quality of the Elseworlds will be higher than the DC universe. That says a lot because so far we've had Joker and the Batman that have been really good for DC Elseworlds. So you're going to have to be like an auteur, someone who's got an original idea. So we're going to get a bit of everything as well. So far, I'm happy. But of course, we've got the casting to come. And I may not be happy with that. Let's see. Rewind the Times. He makes fart jokes and doesn't take things very seriously. I'm afraid he's going to make a joke out of the serious movies. I'm very excited about the Elseworlds. That's cool. He does make fart jokes sometimes. He doesn't always make fart jokes. Just because he's made fart jokes before, it doesn't mean he's going to make fart jokes again. So, yeah, that's a bit stereotypical, really, isn't it? But for me, I'm excited. I think it's great. So far, so good. But we'll see what happens next with the next string of announcements. He's going to cast Superman. That's a very important decision as well. And we got the trunks and no trunks situation as well. He's asking people whether Superman should wear trunks or not. That means he hasn't made his mind up yet. But listen, I can tell why some people are not excited. And it is an element of bias. Abraham Herrera, Gunn has a hard time taking comedy out of a dramatic scene. There's always a joke in a serious scene. Yes, that is true, Abraham. We saw it with the Suicide Squad. You know, when when Harley and Bloodsport were sad about, Rick Flag, and then he went into a little bit of humor. So, yeah, he does do that. But then people may argue that, Zach does certain things that they don't like. Every director has their identity. Jonathan Garcia, those fart jokes are only in Peacemaker. That's the series' sense of humor because of Vigilante and Peacemaker. Don't expect that in Superman. Exactly. MSGT, it's also interesting the situation for Gunn. Nolan Snyder did not set out to create a shared universe. It showed. Gunn is starting out with this project as his focus. Yeah, I agree with that, MSGT. And I'll tell you something else. That James Gunn wants to tell a great story, but he understands the business element of what he's in. So he needs to make this work as a business as well as a piece of entertainment. Snyder doesn't care about the business side. He just wanted to make the films he wanted to make. Please smash the like button, as everyone. Rewind the times. It's a wait and see for me. Batman Brave and the Bold as the main Batman is cool. Elseworlds is so cool. It's pretty much a multiverse. One thing for sure is if you're friends with Gunn, you can stay. I don't think that's necessarily the point. I don't believe that Levi and Miller and all the rest of them are actually going to be the DC Universe versions of these characters. He was pretty non-committal. He said it's possible they could continue, but then Safran said they're not there yet. They haven't got any plans at this moment for them. That's non-committal. I don't believe Ezra Miller will be the Flash in DC Universe. But they've got 4 movies coming out with these actors this year. Would any sensible, sane person start saying Ezra Miller's not the Flash anymore before these movies have happened? Of course not. MSGT, yeah, but breaking the serious mood with a quip was and is the Disney MCU formula. Doesn't mean that Gunn will carry that over. This is a new universe. He understands the importance of this universe. Yes, there will be humor, even in the Superman movie. The Dick Donner movie had plenty of humor, but he's fucking screaming to the heavens when Lois Lane dies. You can do both. Rewind the times. I don't think Momoa is playing Lobo. I think he's definitely staying as Aquaman. I don't know about the Lobo thing. I think there's a big chance he won't be playing Aquaman, but let's see. I don't think that any of them remain in the role. That's what I think. But it's clear there's no plans at the moment for Aquaman and the Flash and Shazam. Shazam you could kind of forget about for a few years, by the way. Shazam's not important to carry over anyway. Reno Jack, even the Batman had quippy moments. It's basic comic book dialogue to have those moments. Yeah, there's nothing. Look, we live in a culture today where people either want dark superhero movies and TV shows or light. I think you can marry the both, but you can have a bit of both. You can have serious movies and you can have light movies. There's no rules, really. MSGT, if Momoa stays as Aquaman, it will be as an Elseworld title. There is no way he was that excited a few weeks ago over Aquaman. Yeah, listen, look, something is going on. Something certainly is going on with Gal and Wonder Woman, because the way they're talking isn't exactly filling me with confidence that she stays as Wonder Woman. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? They're going to recast Wonder Woman. Film Gobbling, I'll be honest, this slate really doesn't do anything for me, and because it doesn't seem to fix anything. Right, Film Goblin, can you explain that? What do you mean it doesn't fix anything? You're getting a Superman movie. You're getting a Batman movie. You're getting a Supergirl movie. We've never had a Supergirl in the DCEU. You're getting a horror movie, a Swamp Thing horror movie. You're getting some other titles as well. What doesn't it fix? What do you mean it doesn't fix anything? They haven't exactly elaborated how all this is going to work. So we don't really know what it fixes and what it doesn't. MSGT, I want drama. That is how I always saw DC. Well, I just want a bit of everything. I don't want one thing or the other. Pac-Man, really excited for Brave and the Bold, Swamp Thing and Supergirl. Yep, great titles. Film Goblin. It's like you said, this isn't a new DCU, and this is just the same old DCU, but DCU in name only. Yeah, I mean, it does kind of look like it's a rebrand, and of course, it is definitely a rebrand, but I think it might be newer and fresher than I originally thought. Rewind the Times. Booster Gold is really cool. I love Booster Gold. MSGT Elseworlds in play. Years from now, with Snyder jail freed from their roles. Maybe the completion of the Snyder story. Maybe, unlikely, but maybe. Jonathan Garcia, I really like that they are focusing on legacy with adding that Bat Family, Supergirl, and Paradise Lost. Yeah, for example, he's building out the Bat Family. It's something that DC fans tell me they wanted for a very long time. That in itself is exciting. Yusuf Al-Jawan, James and Peter Safran have a roadmap for DC, and we've never really had one before. Film Goblin, some of the stuff on the slate isn't necessary, including Supergirl. Green Lantern should be a movie and not a TV show. Right, Film Goblin. Right. Why isn't Supergirl necessary? That's a very strange thing to say. It's your opinion. You're entitled to it. But why isn't Supergirl necessary? That doesn't make sense. I believe that the Green Lantern TV series will lead into a movie in part B of Chapter 1. We haven't had the whole slate for Chapter 1 yet, so you're making an assumption there. MSGT, Booster Gold as a straight comedy is perfect. That's how those comics are, right? Absolutely. Pac-Man, so Amanda Waller and Peacemaker will stay intact in a new universe. Well, not necessarily. It's interesting because he said our first thing for DC Universe is Waller, but he said our real first thing is Superman Legacy. Now, tomorrow's DC Universe Daily is all about some of the reservations I've got about Superman Legacy, and I'll be talking about that on tomorrow's DC Universe Daily. But yeah, I'm not necessarily. I think Waller. The Waller series is just like a drip over from his original Suicide Squad universe plans. I think they're going to be halted. I don't even think he's going to do a Peacemaker 2. MSGT, Green Lantern will be a movie eventually. How can it not? For now, the introduction is a limited series. Rewind the times. Since Gunn is doing horror with the likes of Swamp Thing, I really want to see Frankenstein, the DC version. MSGT, isn't Supergirl just a derivative character with boobs? I can't believe you just said that. I can't believe you seriously said that. Why? Yes, she has boobs. She's a woman. But so what? I don't understand what your point is. What do you mean a derivative character? She is Superman's cousin, and she's a character in her own right. That's an outrageous thing to say. James Gunn has been talking about working with Ben Affleck for the new DCU. He has. Film Goblin, because if this is new universe, I would like to see jail characters get their movies first to lead into new jail movie. First, then do Supergirl after. Hang on. Why should the other characters get their movies and Supergirl gets their movies after? Supergirl is actually part of the Justice League in different comics in DC's history. Again, don't get your mentality towards Supergirl. Reno Jack, is Chris Pratt confirmed as Booster Gold, or is that a rumor? That's a rumor. Film Goblin, stuff like Creature Commandos and the Authority aren't necessarily right now. Why? Why can't he introduce new DC things we've never seen before? Film Goblin, basically do the MCU first phase to lead to an Avengers film, then expand the universe. But Supergirl isn't an expansion. She's an important character. Maybe not to you, but she is important. So, sounds a bit sexist to me. Rewind the times. Take his DC card away. MGST, MSH, come on, bud. MSGT, my point is that Superman was it, only it. All of a sudden, they created a female version and called her a cousin. No, it's not. Because then you could say, oh, Wonder Woman was just created because they created a Superman and they wanted a female superhero. Why isn't it important to have a Supergirl as well as a Superman? That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's not derivative. It's not. Scott Edwards, what's up? Good evening, Scotty. Yusuf Al-Dajan, Chris Pratt busy playing Mario right now. I think that's all been shot already, my friend. Film Gobbling, I get that she's important, but as important as the main DC lead characters in the Justice League. Yes, she's one of those lead characters in the Justice League. Scott Edwards, so how does Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom fit in? It's a film and it's part of the old DCEU. That's how it fits in. Film Goblin, not as important. No. Well, that's your opinion. But to me and millions of others around the world, Supergirl is absolutely important. Rewind the time, please. No Chris Pratt as Beast of Gold. No. Waz007. Hi, everyone. Hi, Waz from England. Yo, mate. How's it going, Waz? I'm from England, but I live in Cyprus. John, did you enjoy Supergirl on Smallville? Yes, yes, I really I love Laura. I love Laura so much. She's a lovely girl. She was a great Kara. Maybe didn't do her enough justice in the end, but she was pretty cool. Reno Jack, Chris Pratt is an absolute bollocks. I'm sorry, just my opinion. I don't know why everyone hates Chris Pratt. MSGT, okay, from Wonder Woman, they should create a Wonder Man in the same costume and call him a cousin. Yeah, that's a hot take. That's such a dumb, sorry to say this, it's your opinion, but I think that's a stupid thing to say. Right, actually, I think Marvel have got a Wonder Man, but Wonder Woman has become her own character. So why should there be a Wonder Man? Why does there have to be a Wonder Man? There can be. I'm not against the Wonder Man, but you're basically saying there shouldn't be a Supergirl. The conversation you've ignited is sexist. That's what it is. It's sexist and it has no logic. It's your opinion. You're entitled to it, but you're just making yourself look very, very sexist and bigoted. I'm sorry, but that's how it comes across. Rewind the times. Gunn did say Blue Beetle, The Flash, and Aquaman 2 are part of the new DCU. I'm interested how. Well, he didn't really say that in so many words. He keeps on saying DCU because that's what it is at the now, but I'm not necessarily convinced that that's the case. Blue Beetle he's got big plans for, and that's interesting. We'll see. Waz007, I'm good, thanks, Mick. Fellow Brit. Oh, I'm surrounded by Americans. No offense. Right. Pac-Man, the version of Supergirl Right. The comments are going too fast. Right. Zac Efron. Not necessarily. So you're talking Zac Efron as Booster Gold? Nah. Right. I'm missing some of your comments. I'm sorry. Waz007, I think Chris Pratt might boost gold. Commander P. Shepard. Chris Pratt as Lex Luthor. I'd like to see him be a villain, and I do like Chris. Reno Jack. Imo, he has no range and just plays himself in every movie. Butchered several franchises. Jurassic Park. Mario again. Just my opinion. I know he has fans. Well, John Wayne literally played himself. Didn't do him bad, did it? Bruce Willis pretty much played himself. You know, MSGT, because Superman was his own character. Why should there be a Supergirl? There's no logic to that. She's her own character, right? I have a sister. I have sisters, right? Should they not exist because I'm a man? Oh, and I've just got a sister. Why should there be girl versions of siblings as well? That's why what you're saying doesn't have any merit, in my opinion. Abraham Herrera, like I said the other day, James is going to do a good job. He's at a certain level and we can expect good things. The hard part is winning the fandom over again. Yeah, I think he's never going to win the Snyderverse stands, especially with some of the horrible things they're saying about him. But the general audience who weren't represented within the DCEU, I think, yes, the DC stands who weren't represented during the DCEU, yes. Film Goblin, Gunn making a Green Lantern series isn't different than what Hamada was planning with Greg Berlanti was going to do. So nothing's changed. Right. It's totally right. Actually, what he's doing is quite similar to what David S. Goyer was going to do. He was going to write and direct a JL movie, not a JL movie, a Green Lantern movie, and it was going to be a buddy-buddy cop thing. It sounds like they're still doing that. Maybe David Goyer's actually writing it. We'll have to wait and see. Rewind the times. Booster Gold is a musclehead. Good-looking guy. That's not Pratt. Scott Edwards. Did you like Arrowverse Supergirl? She was okay. MSGT. Film Goblin do. They do not have to copy the MCU. Never had to. There is no need to present each jail character and then assemble them. John, do you think Ben Affleck could direct Batman Brave and the Bold? I think it's a possibility, yes. Rewind the times. John, I hope. Waz 007. Who you cast for Ted Cole but Blue Beetle for DCU? I don't know, because I haven't read Ted Cole that much. Reno Jack, yes, sir, but John Wayne and Bruce Willis were likable personalities on their own. Chris Pratt is not likable to me. Not to you, but to millions others there are. He is. Modern age actors who's bland and just cashes checks. Film Goblin, MSGT. I get that, but since they are somewhat rebooting, they might as well do what MCU did, since that's what people have been complaining about for a decade. Scott Edwards, Wonder Woman will be in Chapter 1, I think. I think she will. She'll get her movie, but not Gal Gadot. Abraham Mick, but the real Snyderverse fans like myself aren't attacking anyone. We're just waiting to see what happens. Those toxic people, I don't even consider my fellow fans yet. Those people, I mean, there's two sides at the moment. There's the brilliant fans fighting to get Snyderverse on Netflix. I support that. And then there's the ones saying really disgusting things about James Gunn, and they must be living in a cupboard with a tortoise. That's all I can say. And I know you're all right, Abraham, but I'm just making the example there. Scott Edwards, will Sasha Calais play Supergirl in a new movie? Absolutely not. Not happening. And Grace Randolph is saying the same thing. Film Goblin, you called Mick DC Studios is not real and James Gunn is just a front of the old regime. Yes, I did say that. I was very angry about the removal of Henry Cavill. And at the time, DC Studios was an empty studios. Now they're announcing some people to be working there. So obviously, that situation has changed. And yes, there is a bit of a front to the old regime. Look, Emmerich isn't there anymore. I mean, he's criticized. He's come out now and criticized the old regime. So it looks like they're attempting to move on from it. Maybe behind the scenes, they're still there. But I was very angry about the removal of Henry Cavill. Someone can have an opinion, then he can simmer down a bit and kind of consider that maybe I was wrong. So just because you have one opinion, it doesn't mean you have to stick with that opinion forever. If I am wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. We'll see when these films come out. MSGT, size Superman 1938, Supergirl 1950. She was created to entice female readers. That is the definition of derivative. So basically, my sister was created just to make everyone happy that there's female siblings as well. No. Basically, Supergirl is very popular with men as well as women. Wonder Woman is as popular with men as she is with women. Again, now, you're saying there shouldn't be a female version to a character. I think that's problematic. What you're saying isn't logical. Reno Jack, just my opinion. Apologize if it's inflammatory. No, you have the right to say your opinion. That's what we're here for. John, do we know who the villain is in Blue Beetle? It's Victoria Cold. So it's Cold's wife, and she's the villain. Scott Edwards, Gal will be Wonder Woman in DCU. I don't think she will be. MSGT, Film Goblin, and if Gunn simply copied the MCU, people will criticize it for that. Marvel had to do it that way. Who does not know Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, or The Flash? Well, they're not leaping into Justice League. They haven't mentioned the Justice League. Maybe Chapter 1 will have a Justice League movie. I doubt it. MSGT, your sister is her own person. She was not created to be a copy of you. Well, she is a copy of me. She has my DNA. She's got my DNA. You're saying there shouldn't be a Supergirl because there's a Superman. That comes across as bigoted and sexist. It's a hot take. I think you are a bit of a hot take merchant, aren't you? Waz Douglas, do you think Batwoman in DCU? Maybe eventually, but not the rubbish Batwoman we had in Arrowverse. It doesn't look like, by the way, that James Gunn is a big fan of Arrowverse or Greg Berlanti. He's booted Berlanti out. Do you think Villager, the new slate sucks, sorry. And as I said, Villager, to everyone so far, it's not just a case of saying it sucks. What's your reason for it sucking? Swamp Thing, Superman, Batman, Supergirl. What did you want for it not to suck? Don't just say it sucked. Tell us why you think it sucked. Because otherwise it's just a hot take. You know, you have to have a reason. You have to have a reason. I remember, I dare say Supergirl and Wonder Woman are more popular with men than females. The other day I saw a girl reacting to Wonder Woman 2017. She called the movie a bad movie. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, listen, clearly she's not a superhero fan. Basically, these people go on YouTube, pretend they're watching a film for the first time, and they say something controversial to get the hits, don't they? We know how these people work. Villager, sorry, I just came here so I didn't see part of the light. But the thing is, Villager, if you don't like something, you do kind of need to establish why you don't like something. Otherwise, how do I know why you don't like it? Where's 007? I want Green Arrow films. So do I. Rewind the times. Blue Beetle villains are Victoria Cold and Carpax, the indestructible man. Oh, wow, I didn't know that one. Thank you, Rewind the times. Villager, it sucks for me because it focuses too much on Superman, no offense. It should also focus on Batman, Wonder Woman, and the most popular characters too. Right, so Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are the most popular characters in DC. There's a Batman Brave and the Bold movie, so it's focusing on Batman and they're building out the Bat family. So maybe you didn't know that, Villager. And they're introducing some new characters. We're getting a Wonder Woman prequel show. We're getting a Swamp Thing horror movie. So there's a bit of something, in my opinion, for everyone. But Batman is in there. It's not just about Superman. So that kind of logic doesn't make sense, really. Rewind the times. Yeah, bud. Villager, everyone is trying to cancel Zack now. No one's trying to cancel Zack. Zack Snyder's a great director, made 3 brilliant DC films, but commercially, they didn't work out. James Gunn's there. He ain't going anywhere. And I suppose if you don't like that, you won't be watching. Batman, these people are unhappy because they expected to jail Fred straight out. This is part 1 of chapter 1. Yeah, listen, I didn't want Justice League. I need to get over the mess we had with Justice League. I don't need a Justice League straight off the bat. I want to see solo movies, you know. Bat Super, good evening, Mick. Good evening, Bat Super. Yusuf Aljawan. I like Supergirl. So do I, John. John, are you going to get the Superman movies on 4K when they are released? Yes, I am. I'm just worried how bad Superman 4 will look in 4K. Yufas Aljawan, cool. Because of Justice League cartoon. I love the cartoon. Villager, I'm talking about Zach Levi, lol. Oh, right, yeah. Well, I said it on one of my videos. I don't know if you saw it. Everyone has a right to have an opinion, famous or non-famous, toxic or non-toxic. That's his opinion, and he's entitled to it. That's exactly what James Gunn said as well. Bat Super, did you see James Mangold's tweet about Swamp Thing? Yes, and the Hollywood Reporter is saying that he's in talks to direct Swamp Thing. MSGT Villager, nobody's cancelling Zack Snyder. Yeah, that's not who he was talking about. He's just not part of the DCU discussion. Bobcat. Hey, Mickey. Good evening, Bobcat. Great to see you. Rewind the times. Mick, I got a question. You say Zack's movie didn't financially work out. What if Gunn's movies don't make what Zack's movies made? Then obviously it'll be a failure and he'll lose his job. Pretty simple, really, isn't it? But we don't know yet, do we? MSGT Villager. Got it. So, yeah, we don't know what they're going to make. But I think his movies are going to be more commercial. John, can you explain why Superman 4 could look bad in 4K? Because I can see the strings when they're up in space on Chris and the Nuclear Man actor. And I'm worried it's going to be even worse when we see it in 4K. Bobcat, opinion on the new DC slate. I absolutely loved it, Bobcat. I would absolutely love to hear your opinion as a Batman fan. I think you're more of a kind of Harley fan. But, yeah, what do you think of Brave and the Bold and Damian Wayne? What do you think of the rest of the slate? Yusuf Asia 1, I have no problem with Supergirl getting a movie because she needed one. Where's 007? I'm excited for driving mode and boost the gold. Driving mode and boost the gold. What's driving mode? Personally, I like the slate, but we've got to see the films. We've got to see the castings. So I'm not saying it's going to be brilliant. I'm saying so far, I'm happy. And he gave us more than I thought he would. Rewind the time. Make this gonna suck if this fails. Imagine another reboot. Oh my God. Yeah, look, we don't want it to fail. We don't know if it's going to fail. MSGTO, if Gunn's first movies are flops, it will be a massive blow towards the creation of the shared universe. movies are flops, it will be a massive blow towards the creation of the shared universe. They won't attempt a reboot for a very long time. Well, we don't know if they're going to be flops, do we? Waz 007, sorry, spelling mistakes. I mean brave and bold. Bobcat, I love the slate. At first, it was really out there, but it all makes sense, and I can already see how they connect. I love the idea of Brave and the Bold. Yeah, I think Brave and the Bold is really exciting to me. We don't really know enough about this Superman Legacy movie. I am concerned that this could end up being a Superboy movie and not a Superman movie. That Superman is either off-world in this film or he's already dead. My concerns come from the teasing of All-Star Superman, where Superman dies in the end, and it's called Legacy. Legacy is saying you leave once you die. So I do have concerns with Superman Legacy. MSGT, I think they will work out. It's an interesting slate. John, thoughts on Booster Gold in Smallville? Oh, I thought Booster Gold in Smallville was fabulous. I love the connection with Blue Beetle as well. Where's 007? I love playing Dick Grayson in Nightwing and DCU. Bobcat, in the Brave and the Bold cartoon, which I love, by the way, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold were major players, so I could see Blue Beetle showing up. Yes, that wouldn't surprise me. There's a brilliant, I think it's the first episode, when Blue Beetle and Batman team up, and all those little creatures are obsessed with Blue Beetle. It's absolutely brilliant. That's my favorite Batman animated series. Scott Edwards, excellent levels, excitement level for Ashoka, 10. Really excited. I love Ahsoka, loved Ashley Eccleston, hard to beat her, but looking forward to the live action. But I always think that the animation will be better. MSGT, Superboy is another derivative character. How does the last son of Krypton have so many Kryptonians flying around with the same costume? Well, it's a good point, but it's there, isn't it? Abraham Herrera, if all the new characters are going to come from the Flash making a certain decision, I would expect the Flash to make cameos on everything, Waller, Blue Beetle, etc., because only Barry remembers. Yes, that is something that happened in the original movie, where he remembers and he realizes that Keaton's there and Sasha Calle's Supergirl's there, and he's wondering why, and Superman's not there and he's wondering why, and he asks Aquaman, where's Superman, and he can't remember Superman. So, yeah, but I think things have changed. Grace Randolph has said that she's been told that Keaton and Sasha Calle have been cut at the end of the movie when Barry Allen returns to the original timeline. Ronnie Dodge, the one thing that makes me excited is Paradise Lost. Yeah, that sounds like a very excited Game of Thronesy kind of prequel, and I think that's going to tease the Wonder Woman movie. Rewind the Times. Gunn posted today there are only two chapters. At the end of the chapter, it will finish a story, but not the universe. Yeah. So each chapter tells a story. That story finishes, and then in the next chapter, so there's not just two chapters. They've built out two chapters. I think that's how the first 10-year plan works, and so it won't be the end of the universe. Of course, it won't. The DC universe won't finish if it's popular and it's successful. And I think each chapter will finish a story, but it will build up to a bigger story that's really all connected. Scott Edwards, have you seen Boba Fett episode where Luke and Ashoka meet? I did. It was awesome. Gosh, I love that moment so much. So do I. Bobcat, I'm excited for Supergirl, as I'm love that comic run from Tom King. Well, Bobcat, as I've got you here, and I haven't read that graphic novel, when they're adapting that, they're working with Tom, please tell me all about it. Just tell me as much as you can about Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Tell me what it's about. Waz 007, my favorite episode, Brave and the Bold, episode 8 with Ted Cole, Blue Beetle, and Booster Gold team up. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Reno Jack, I am not understanding what is so wrong with having derivative characters. There are loads of them in all comics with larger-than-life heroes. Exactly. MSGT, Ronnie Dodge, see, the only thing that interests you is Paradise Lost. There's something for everybody in this slate. This was smart. Exactly. Waz 007, I hear that the Batman Part 2 might last Matt Batverse film. It could be, yeah. Ronnie Dodge, who would you cast as Perry White? I did have an idea, and I forgot about it. I'm trying to remember who it was. Wow. Do you know what? I have to try and remember. I did have an idea for Perry White. No, I've forgotten. I mean, you could have Lionel Luthor, John Glover. He would be cool. Abraham Herrera, John Campion said Ezra will never be the Flash again, but I have a feeling they are going to keep Ezra. I wouldn't mind if they do. I don't think they're going to keep Ezra, Abraham. I think they're being very diplomatic at the moment because that film hasn't come out yet and they can't fire him before that film comes out. That would be dumb, but I think he's done, personally. Scott Edwards, when do you plan to watch Boba Fett finale? No idea at the moment. MSGT, Reno Jet, nothing wrong. They are just derivative. Ronnie Dodge, I'm so excited for almost everything in the DCU. Sam DeJamaruz, Hugh Laurie should direct Perry White. He was going to play him in Superman Returns. That's true. He will be excellent. Reno Jack, Mick, have you heard of a YouTube channel called Pitch Meeting? I haven't. Ronnie Dodge, I'm actually excited for the Authority. I don't know what that is, but it does seem very interesting. Waz 007, I don't think keep Ezra Miller. Ezra need to be... look, I don't think Miller... Look, they can't tell you anything about Miller's future right now. It wouldn't make good business sense. Scott Edwards, but you'll get in it before Mando season 3, right? I will. Bobcat, Supergirl sees everyone she loves brutally die, so she's less chipper and more bleak. We see her believing that she has no meaning for life, so she's very depressed. So how does that work out, Bobcat? How does she... I'm assuming there's a story there. How does that change for Supergirl? MSGT, keeping Ezra Miller makes absolutely no sense. I don't know why fans keep thinking of all the jail characters Gunn wants. The one that is a massive liability. Yeah, he ain't staying. If Gal's going, he's going. Ronnie Dodge, the Authority is basically an anti-hero version of the League. Sounds interesting, though. Ronnie Dodge, Abraham Herrera, well, there is still the mystery of Momoa being extremely excited at this point. I'm sure it wasn't Lobo. Do you know what, Abraham? He always seems to be excited and throws DC in there when he's promoting something that nobody wants to watch. Have you noticed that? These people are all business, Abraham. They're all the fucking same. They're just a bunch of used car salespeople. And I mean, I love them. I love entertainment. I love the industry. But they're just business, these people. And sometimes it's tiring. Sam Jam Views. I want Guillermo del Toro to direct Justice League Dark. Ronnie Dodge. I can see Superman being in Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, helping his cousin. I think that could be a thing. Reno Jack, if you want a laugh, you should check it out. They point out plot holes in movies, but it's in the form of a pitch meeting sketch. MSGT, it could be Lobo. This doesn't mean there will be a Lobo movie. No, I think he's in the Superman movie for sure, as he's basically a big Superman character. I expect Lobo to be introduced in the Superman film. This is Movies TV Mad. We're live this evening with 14 viewers. Thank you to all of you. 5 likes. Appreciate all those 5 likes, but please give me some more if you don't mind. I don't expect the Lobo movie, by the way. The Black Adam film proves not to do that again. I think as a bit part, he could be a really great character, but he ain't going to get his own movie. I don't think he will. I think Lobo's in the Superman movie, that's for sure. He may even show up in the Supergirl movie as well. Black Adam proved, just because you're a popular villain, it doesn't mean people want to sit there for 2 hours watching you. Ronnie Dodge, did you see Marvel let a Ramp Man TV split out after the announcement? They're scared low. Ronnie Dodge, did you see Marvel let a Ant-Man TV? Oh, right, a TV spot out after the announcement. They're scared low. Yeah, they're promoting it. I mean, it is coming soon, but I suppose they would be a little bit nervous. I don't think he's happy with James Gunn being involved with DC. Where's Douglas? I think Matt could direct the question. Reno Jack, honestly, crazy. I was saying Momoa looked like Lobo when he was cast as Aquaman. Yeah, he certainly doesn't look like the comic book version of Aquaman, but I think he's been a great Aquaman. It's worked out well. But there's a potential for all these actors to be replaced. This is a new universe. This is a new universe. Either they're using the Flash movie to reset the timeline, or they're just going to say, after these DCU movies, here's a new universe. We're here now. And that's what I think they may do. One or the other. I'm not sure exactly how they do this because they haven't even explained it. MSGT, yeah, I can see that maybe lower appearance here and there in movies until he becomes a bigger part of Gunn's biggest story ever told. Was 007 have seen Indian Superman and Spider-Woman dance together on YouTube? I haven't, no. Abraham Herrera, everything will be revealed when The Flash comes out. Maybe the Super Bowl trailer will give hints. Right now, anything any of us think is irrelevant, but it's fun to speculate. It is fun to speculate, but we haven't been given the context to know if The Flash is an important movie or not. Ronnie Dodge, James Mangold doing a DC movie is exciting as he's doing Harrison's final indie movie. It is. Bobcat, a young alien girl sees her father get killed. The alien girl gets Supergirl to help and her on her adventure to avenge her father. The alien's girl's father was killed by the King's agent. Interesting. Sounds like a really good story. Ronnie Dodge, Lanterns is going to be like Lethal Weapon in space, I reckon. That's what David Goya's movie was going to be. So maybe David Goya is actually doing this. Who knows? Abraham Herrera comes out in June, doesn't it? Remind me what we were talking about. Oh, the Flash movie. Yes, it comes out in June, I think. I forgot the date. Shazam! Fury of the Gods is March, and then June, and then August. Not long after, we get Blue Beetle. So it's an exciting year. Ronnie Dodge, the 13th of June. So James Gunn is calling it one of the best superhero movies he's ever watched. Is he being genuine? Is he being disingenuous? Who knows? Bobcat, so kind of like Supergirl is depressed and feels like she has no purpose and finds a new purpose in this young girl. So it'll probably be a duo in the DCU. Interesting. Ronnie Dodge, trailer out next Sunday or Monday for us Europe lot. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I forgot all about that. We're actually getting a trailer, so there'll be a trailer reaction from me. Very, very exciting. MSGT, Ronnie Dodge, Gunn said that Lanterns is terrestrial. It takes place mostly on Earth. Reno Jack, did you see they gave the Batman 2 a release date, October 3rd, 2025. Don't forget, originally they were talking about next year. But I know how slow Reeves works, and I knew that was never going to happen. Ronnie Dodge, oh, okay. West W7, Sam Raimi with good choice for the Flash reboot. I suppose so. Bobcat, Guardian 3 new trailer is supposed to be out for the Super Bowl as well. Gunn has called the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, you know, James Gunn's very, very busy. How he's writing a Superman movie, editing Guardians 3, it's absolutely insane. But he looks like he's having a good time. Ronnie Dodge, Comic-Con, I think we will get casting announcements for sure. I think we're definitely going to get something there. Abraham Herrera, I feel like fans are throwing Andy under the bus just because they hate Ezra. Andy Machete is a brilliant man, nice guy from Argentina. I believe, give him a chance. Yeah, I've not heard anyone say anything, derogative about Andy Machete. He is a very good director. And according to James Gunn, he's directed a really, really good film. But I haven't heard anyone say anything bad about him personally. Ronnie Dodge, did you see Glenn Powell said he wants to play Booster Gold? I didn't. I don't know who Glenn Powell is. Bobcat, is it bad to say I'm more excited for Guardians 3 than anything else announced from DC or Marvel? It's not bad. I mean, I don't feel the same way, but yeah, if you're more excited, then why not? Was 007, Dan Stevens would be good for Barry Allen, The Flash. Dan Stevens is quite, I mean, you're talking about what, a 40-year-old man? Ronnie Dodge, Glenn Powell plays Hangman in Top Gun Maverick. Oh, right. Yeah, I liked him. Yeah. He was the arsehole dude, wasn't he? Yeah. MSGT, from what I have read and heard, this Flash movie is fantastic. Even Gunn said that it's maybe the best comic book movie he has ever seen. Yeah, I mean, obviously, he wants it to make money, but he didn't compliment the other movies coming out this year, so that does say a lot. But they have spent a lot of money, and they do want that to be really, really successful. Bob, I'm sure Chris Pratt will be Hal Jordan. Ronnie Dodge, yeah, he was the cocky knob in Maverick. Right. Yeah, I think he will be a very good Booster Gold. I liked him. Well, I didn't like the character, but I like the actor, yeah. Well, Hangman's a bit like Maverick 2.0 and Iceman at the same time, wasn't it? I didn't understand why Maverick weren't turning him off in the movie at all. I mean, he even literally was mocking the death of Goose. Whereas 007 fan want Glenn Powell to boost gold or Hal Jordan Green Lantern. Bobcat, I just hope. Oh, where are we? Right, Bobcat, I just hope everyone can enjoy the new DCU. I hope so. But you can't always please everyone. But you should always keep trying to please everyone. Otherwise, what's the point? Ronnie George, I thought Glenn could be a good Hal Jordan. Yeah, MSGT Bobcat, I hope not. Pratt would be a better booster who is comedic. Hal Jordan is more serious. Although Ryan Reynolds' Hal Jordan wasn't that serious, was he? Which I didn't like, by the way. I mean, look, we're just making assumptions here with people who have worked with James before. Let's see what they do. Ronnie Dodge, Viola Davis is excited being a part of this new DCU. I'm sure she is. I'm sure she is. She will. Well, yeah, I think she will always be Amanda Waller. She's a great Amanda Waller. David Ayer did really well bringing her in from the beginning. Yes, it was David Ayer who brought her in. Bobcat, although Gunn sticks out for his friends, it seems like nothing confirmed. Pratt would be my choice, but I see it happening. MSGT, right. Reynolds, Hal Jordan was a joker. Yeah, he was. He was. He was bad casting. By the way, you know, people mock the movie itself, but he was actually bad casting, in my opinion, as Hal Jordan. They got that casting wrong. Ronnie Dodge, Waller is probably going to be a problem and a bit of a bitch to the league. Reno Jack, I don't know about the whole slate, but I will always give Batman a chance. I'm interested in yet another fresh take with Damian being prominently involved in live action for the first time. Waz 007, Green Lantern mate was in 90s. Tom Cruise would great choice for Hal Jordan. Yeah, I think when he was younger for sure, but maybe they'll pick an older Hal Jordan who's basically teaching John Stewart the ropes. Ronnie George, I loved Viola in Woman King. I never saw that. Ronnie George loved. Yeah, I never saw Woman King. It's pretty much a rewrite of history as well. A bit of a controversial one, that one. I'm sure as a film, it's very, very good. It's like that moment in Doctor Who when someone says, we can't allow the Americans the opportunity to rewrite history. Have you seen their movies? I love it. Yeah, I had no intention of watching The Woman King for the reason of rewriting history. But yeah, Bobcat, The Woman King is a very good movie. I'm sure it's a movie, it's very good, but it's not factual. It is not factual. It's supposed to be historical movie, but it's not factual. But I'm sure she's very good in it, and I'm sure it's a very good film. Ronnie Dodge, would Angela Bassett join the DCU as her character is dead in the MCU? Well, Angela Bassett did play Amanda Waller in Green Lantern, if you remember. MSGT wasn't exactly a rewrite. People who didn't see it exaggerated that. It's a rewriting of history. It is. It's one-sided in the way of the narrative. MSGT, he was Bassett in MCU. She was in Black Panther as a Black Panther's mother. It's not the MCU, it's the MCU. Bobcat. Oh, it's definitely not entirely factual. It was way more brutal than how they portrayed it. Of course. Was 007. Bradley Cooper was director choice for Hal Jordan Green Lantern film 2011. WB want Ryan. Do they? Oh, right, yeah. MSGT. Oh, I can see her face. I can see her face. Now I'm a believer. Welcome to Movies TV Mad. Still 5 measly likes. If you haven't liked the video, please like it. I won't be making any money. You don't have to pay to like it. All you have to do is move your fingers and go boom. John, apart from Joker 2, is there any other DC movies coming out in 2024? No. But, for example, the 7-episode animated series he's written 7 episodes for could be coming out. Could be coming out in 2024. What time is it in Cyprus from Waz 007? It is 9:45 p.m. in the evening, Waz. Bobcat, MSGT, Angela Bassett was Queen Ramonda. MSGT, Bobcat, yeah, I remember now. Yeah, she's a really good actress. She's done a lot of great performances. I'm not sure if she deserves the Oscar, though. The Oscar nom's a bit, yeah, I don't agree with that. But I think, didn't Angela Bassett play Tina Turner? Or was that someone else? MSGT, Gunn is using 2024 to release 2 DCU shows. The movies start in 2025. Right. So that's exciting. Although I don't have access to HBO Max, so I can't review them. I can't really talk about them on here. It's a bit pathetic. Bobcat, I just rewatched Wakanda Forever again. Amazing film. Definitely a well-deserved Oscar nomination for Bassett, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think she's doing anything that tremendous in it for an Oscar. She's had many more better performances and never been nominated. Well, she's been nominated before, but yeah, I just don't think. Why is 007? Do you think DCU will cross over in future? I hope not. I don't know. Anything's possible when they run out of ideas. I don't want to see that. That's something that doesn't excite me. I want both universes just to stay separate. I think it's the most boring thing. When I hear people discussing it, I just think, oh, God. It's just something that doesn't excite me personally. I mean, DC needs to get its house in order before it starts doing shit like that. Let's be honest, you've got to walk before you can run. MSGT, it's pathetic. I remember a couple of years ago that there was an issue receiving streaming channels in Italy and in England. Still an issue. I mean, Disney Plus isn't available in Cyprus. HBO Max isn't available in Cyprus. HBO Max isn't available in the UK because of the deal that HBO have with Sky, aka Sky Atlantic. So basically HBO stuff ends up on Sky Atlantic. But if you don't pay for Sky, you can't watch that shit. So it's outrageous. Reno Jack, have you seen The Whale with Brendan Fraser? Yes, I'm very happy for Brendan. After being, sexually harassed by a very powerful woman in Hollywood. It happens to men as well. Destroyed him, destroyed his career. I'm very, very happy for him. Bobcat, I'm excited for Ant-Man, but I'm really excited for Cocaine Bear. Lol. Don't know about Cocaine Bear. Don't know what that's about. But Ant-Man sees Kang. And I'm very excited for Kang because He Who Remains, when we saw him in Loki, that actor is absolutely sensational. And this is going to be a mesmerizing villain for Phase 5 and Phase 6. So I'm excited for Kang the Conqueror. I'm not that excited for the Ant-Man or his family or the Wasp, but Kang, for me, it's always about the villains. The villains are interesting to me. That's what I like, a good villain. We all watch Dallas for JR, right? The villains are the most exciting thing. MSGT, I thought he was harassed by another man. No, he wasn't. He was harassed by a woman. Bobcat, Jonathan Majors is a fantastic actor. He was good in Devotion 2, which was another movie that came out last year. Yeah, Majors is a really great pick from Kevin Feige. Very good. Very, very good pick. And already you can see that he's well suited to play multiple versions of a multiversal character. So it's going to be very, very exciting. Smash that like button. Come on. We are an hour into the live chat. Thank you for the 6th like, whoever did that. Bobcat, it's amazing how it's just his time now. He's in a lot of stuff coming up, including Creed 3. Yeah, that's Hollywood. When you're the flavour of the month, you're the flavour of the month. Remember Whoopi Goldberg? She was all in all the shit. Where is she now? Where's 007? I remember JR. Yeah. JR was a great character. One of my heroes. One of my TV heroes. Where's 007? Do you like Thundercats? I used to as a kid, yeah. Thunder Cats. At the moment, I'm obsessed with The Simpsons, Family Guy, love all that. Futurama. Futurama's coming back. How exciting is that? Who's excited for Futurama? Bobcat, Come on the Majors is way better than Goldberg. Yeah, I mean, we're not comparing them, Bobcat. We're talking about flavour of the month because that's what you brought up. And yeah, when you're flavour of the month, I mean, Whoopi Goldberg, I mean, she was excellent in The Colour Purple, by the way. I wouldn't like to compare them, to be honest with you. I mean, Whoopi has been a really good actor and some brilliant performances in her time. So, yeah, you're probably a bit too young to remember her at her peak. So I wouldn't compare her and Jonathan Majors because they're two different styled actors. It's difficult. But when you're flavour of the month in Hollywood, yeah. Waz 007, I want live action film or TV show Thundercat. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Well, Whoopi Goldberg confessed quite a few years ago, before when she was flavour of the month, she confessed that she didn't have Hollywood DNA, and all of a sudden the job's dried up. Think about that for a minute. Think about that. Think about that for a minute. That's your Hollywood, your inclusive Hollywood. Yeah? It's not really inclusive though, is it? It's not. MSGT would probably do a proper Thundercats long before they ever do a proper G.I. Joe. Hope so. G.I. Joe isn't for me personally. John, did you hear that there is going to be a Michael Jackson biopic? I did hear this. I mean, the problem with a Michael Jackson biopic, you can't really skip the accusations. And if you do, you know, it's interesting. Who's making this? Who's writing this? And who's directing this? Is it a Michael Jackson fan? Are they going to be biased? That's the problem with all of this. Waz 007, do like Knight Rider in the A-Team? I grew up with Knight Rider in the A-Team. I used to have a TV game system, a game system. I tied it onto my bike and pretended it was Kit the car. Loved Knight Rider. Michael Knight was my hero as a kid, one of them. Jonathan Garcia, did you hear about Logan director being linked to Swamp Thing? Yes, THR, Hollywood Reporter are saying he's in talks to direct that film. Very exciting. But do you remember how everyone said no one would want to work with Zaslav or for Zaslav? It's all changing now, isn't it? Zaslav is going to turn that studio around, mate. MSGT, that biopic is in association with the Jacksons' estate. Well, there you go then. It will be kind to the upbringing and the later scandals, so there's no point then. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I mean, I bet you in the Elvis movie, you don't see him sitting on a bog, stuffing his face before he dies and taking drugs, right? Or hitting Priscilla. I mean, I haven't seen the Elvis movie, but yeah. Jonathan Garcia, do you think Blue Beetle cast will be kept? It's an interesting one. He said he's got big plans. I'm not sure. We will see. I mean, the casting for Blue Beetle is peak, and his show, Cobra Kai, is about to finish as well. There's no reason why you wouldn't want to continue with that actor. And I mean, Walter Hamada spent a lot of time on that casting. They met at a restaurant. He wanted to make sure he was a good guy because he said it's not just about you being a good actor. So a lot of things that Hamada did were actually quite good. I mean, Hamada got stitched up, no question about it. And Ray Fisher stitched him up good and proper. Waz 007, Michael Jackson nephew will play Michael Jackson for film. Oh, it's a money grab, isn't it? It's a money grab. Simple as that. I'm not interested. Not going to watch it. I mean, I love his music. I always listen to his music. I mean, I just don't give a shit if he's the devil incarnate. The man was a genius as a musician. So Jonathan Garcia, yeah, I like Zola as Miguel. I think they'll keep him. I would assume there's no reason not to keep him. All depends how they're seeing this from one universe to the other, because we don't know how they're going to do it. They haven't explained it. They don't really want to go there yet. There's only one reason why they haven't explained it, because they're going to dump all the leads of this year. They've said, yeah, there's a possibility they could be involved. A possibility. MSGT, I've been saying if Blue Beetle is successful and does not really connect to the DCEU within the movie, it could pop up later in the DCU. I think with Booster Gold, I think they're definitely going to want to do lots of things with Blue Beetle. And James has said he has plans for Blue Beetle. Waz 007, I wish Knight Rider and the A-Team cross over. That would have been fun. That would have been interesting. My two favourite shows, two of my favourite shows growing up. So I would have loved that. I don't know how it would have worked, though. John, did you ever see the Michael Jackson Moonwalker movie? Yeah. I liked it. I thought it was amazing. The man was a genius. The man was a genius. But he was abused as a kid. You know, that guy was fucked up and nobody helped him. I don't think he was an abuser. I just think he liked children. That's how I see the thing. I don't think the man was all there. But those parents allowing their kids to stay with a stranger, what were they thinking of? They're to blame as well. And then they started suing him as well. Personally, I just think the man wasn't all there in the head. That's how I see it. A very big tragedy, just like George Michael and how he died young. Very sad. Waz WSN, also like Knight Rider and the A-Team. Yep, love them. Great shows. MSGT, here's an 80s kid. Of course he saw Moonwalker. Agree with Mick. Jackson was just screwed up and put himself in a bad situation where he could be accused of things. Yeah, they took advantage of that man. He wasn't the one taking the advantage. They took advantage of him. Then the bastards sued him. He wasn't right in the head. Simple as that. Wasn't right in the head. And nobody helped him. Everyone was happy to suck his money, right? But not one of that fucking family helped him. And this is what happens when you're famous. When you're popular and you've got money, they'll suck you dry. That's why not one famous person is happy and they end up on drugs. Look at Heath Ledger. His performance of his life hadn't been released yet. Ends up naked, alone in an apartment. You can't tell me that wasn't suicide. He just happened to overdose on prescription pills. Yeah, right. The Waz Double said, I play Moonwalker game, Master of System. Oh, wow. I ain't played that. And they don't really talk about Heath Ledger's death as a suicide. I personally think it was. How do you just happen to overdose on prescription pills? I mean, come on. I think the Joker role really messed with him. I think he really went deep with that role. And it's a tragedy. And no one cared about him. He was on his own in an apartment, died naked. They found him laying there. Just imagine. What a horrible, lonely way to go. And this is a famous guy, a beautiful looking dude, you know, talented dude. What a shame. It breaks my heart, the way people are treated in the industry. It's horrible. We're kind, we're compassionate. Like the DVD extras, we're a family. Nah, you're not. You are not. Who's sending me direct messages to Twitter? The Reverse has sent you a direct message on Twitter, but why? Welcome to Movies TV Mad. Please subscribe if you're new. We're having a wonderful debates and conversations tonight about DC and beyond, and I'm really enjoying myself doing this live. MSGT Gunn stated that Damon will be a tween. Sorry, MSGT, I just need to get rid of these bloody pop-ups. MSGT Gunn stated that Damon will be a tween. I am most curious how they are going to pull that off without compromising Batman. Yes, a tween. Does that mean, what does that mean? A teenager? I'm assuming it's a teenager. What is a tween? What does that mean? I mean, we know he's a trained assassin. We know he's probably killed before. But in the animation, I think it's so good. I've loved Damian Wayne. I'm so excited that it's hit that Robin that they're choosing. MSGT tweet is 11 or 12. The reverse sent you a direct tweet. Yeah, I don't know why. Waz007 did like Centurion's cartoon. I hope it's not abusive. Waz007 did like Centurion's cartoon, never watched it. MSGT, maybe Matt Reeves want you as Mr. Freeze. Well, it's the Reeves-verse. It's an account. It isn't actually Matt Reeves or anyone special. It's just someone who talks about the Reeves-verse. I would love to be in a DC movie. What fun would that be? I'm not really a fan of direct messaging. Too private. You know what people love to do? They like to do the old screenshots. John, has the Masters of the Universe Revelation been cancelled? Oh, what, the animated series? I have no idea. It was horrible, wasn't it? Apparently they're doing a live action movie. MSGT, nah, he heard you are an actor. Pack your bags, Mick. Waz007, I see Mick play Lex Luthor for DCU. That would be fun. I'd really like to do that. I love Lex Luthor. I think he's brilliant. Fascinating character. I was watching the Superman Red Sun animated movie, and Lex Luthor actually is pretty cool in that film. I really like that film. Apart from Wonder Woman shitting on men for the whole movie. That was annoying. All man. MSGT, can you do an American accent? Not very well, no. I'm not good with accents. Well, howdy. You can see I can't do an American accent. There's no way. Well, I can just be a British Lex Luthor. A British Lex Luthor would be cool. I hate you, Superman. I hate every fibre of your being. If it was up to me, I would take a piece of kryptonite and incarcerate you with it. I couldn't think of what word to say there. Waz007, Master of the Universe film 1987 is underrated film. I love Masters of the Universe 1987. I think it's so cool. I love that film. Love it. Taylor, Evil Lynn, Skeletor. Brilliant Skeletor. Waz007, great acting, Mick. I was just thinking of that series finale of Smallville when Lex and Clark reunite after all the years. John, Masters of the Universe came out the same time as Superman 4, didn't it? It did, and they were both made by Canon Films. Canon Films was famous for under-budgeting movies, and they got a lot of trouble in Masters of the Universe. They ran out of money, and the director, Gary Goddard, had to fund that movie to get it finished. MSGT, Masters of the Universe was a fun movie when it came out. Still can't do a damn G.I. Joe movie. I mean, He-Man in the 80s was massive. The cartoon was sensational at the time. Every kid was watching it. But it was a flop. And that's a shame. He-Man, I have the power. I mean, I love the cartoon. I mean, when you watch it now, it does seem basics, same kind of actions, repetitive animation. But, yeah, loved it. And the music was great, by the way. The film had no Orko. We had Gwildor, but not Orko. I don't get that. If you could do Gwildor, why can't you do Orko? That's so strange why they didn't like Orko. Gwildor literally is the same fucking thing. I still got a He-Man cartoon VHS. Oh, wow. That's awesome. I used to record all that shit, but obviously I don't have the tapes anymore. I used to record Looney Tunes cartoons as a kid. I used to record so many things. John, I think the He-Man toys came first before the cartoon. Yes, it started off as a toy thing. Then they made the cartoon, but the cartoon became so popular. It was one of the big things of the 80s. It was huge. And when I watch it now, it's sensational, especially the intro. The intro is iconic. Whilst I've an old VHS tape from 1987. Yeah, I used to buy all the blanks. I used to record so many things. The A-Team, Knight Rider, Dallas, Dynasty, Knots Landing, movies. I used to do the long play to get more movies on a 3-hour tape. I used to do the lot. Right, little nerd. Still am. Love it. It looks like Ronnie Dodge has gone to watch the United game. Where's WSL? 1C Thundercat and He-Man crossover. MSGT, that's what the 1980s did to sell toys. They created cartoons and comics. Worked, and it was good. Bassett, I used to record on long play as well. Where's WSL? I saw that. Where's 007? My age is 40. My age is 50. MSGT 50 here. Congratulations. MSGT September. 51 October. I'll be about 53 when Superman Legacy comes out. WazW, you look good for 50. Yeah, thank you. Must be that face cream I use from Nivea. The lack of stress in my life. So what are we saying? Trunks or no trunks for Superman in Superman Legacy? James Gunn's been asking that. The animator who laughs. Greetings, the animator who laughs. Good evening to you. Trunks or no trunks? MSGT, I'm guessing that Gunn will announce further titles at Comic-Con, but he won't touch on Flash or Aquaman until next year. Well, he probably doesn't really need to get into the Flash or Aquaman because the films have just come out. He doesn't really need to deal with them for now. MSGT, no trunks. Interesting. Waz 007, I'm 40. People think I'm late 20s. Waz 007, no trunks. I mean, I don't mind either or with trunks. I'm not really... MSGT, maybe Wonder Woman, but I don't think he needs to until it's time to get a movie into the mix. I think after a while, all these 4 movies are released and they've done their business in the cinema. So next year, probably now, we will hear what's going on with them. You're not going to hear anything about The Flash or Aquaman or Shazam for a while after that. Animated last. I'm mixed on the trunks. Yeah, I don't mind either way, personally. The animated last. Mick, would you mind a blue and grey bat suit? No. Look, I think they've tried these different colours in the comics. It just depends what kind of design they're going with. MSGT, I think it would be funny to see the trunks after what they did with Brandon Routh's GQ costume and Cavill's look. I think that, personally, the trunks have to be designed in a certain way in modern day terms so they don't look campy. It'll be interesting what they do. I think James Gunn's already decided. He said it's just a bit of fun. That's why he was asking. But I think he's made his mind up already. I'm going to guess that they're going with the trunks because the no trunks has really upset some hardcore Superman fans. So I think they will go with the trunks. I think they're all for making people happy. MSGT, maybe boxers kind of contemporary shorts rather than trunks. So nothing like what Chris Reeve wore, because that's just not going to work today. I mean, Chris Reeve pulled it all off because he was Chris Reeve. He was just a legend. Waz Doubler said, what one Superman have 52 looks? You mean new 52? So, this is Movies TV Mad. We have 7 viewers at the moment. It's been a live chat. 2 videos up today as well. Waz Doubleton, one Batman New 52 look. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. MSGT, Reeve wore granny panties. Ralph wore Speedos. I think Speedos are better in modern day terms. I've never seen granny panties before, so I'm not going to get into that. I think for the time, the Reeves costume looked great. He looked great in it. Obviously, that's a long time ago, over 40 years ago. But super. I think trunks can work if they can make it look good. I'm all for it. If they don't do the trunks, they can do the red belt. I think they're going to do things that people were upset about that they didn't do in the Snyderverse, for example. So I think the trunks are going to happen. That's just my feeling. Waz 007 may have to be at Comic Con before. Waz 007, I want to make on last year. Oh, MegaCon. MSGT, Comic Con is great. It's going to be real good this year. I've never been to a Comic Con. I've never been to San Diego Comic Con before. It takes money, doesn't it? MSGT might even see some Rebel Moon. Yes, Rebel Moon's coming out at the end of this year. Waz Douglas and my son enjoyed Comic Con. Cool. Children, I wonder what the next DC fandom will be like. There won't be a DC. I don't think they'll do another DC fandom, personally. It was only created for the pandemic. I don't think you'll see one of them again. I think they'll stick with Comic Con. I could be wrong, though. I mean, it would be a good time with a slate now to do it. I mean, probably no point doing a DC fandom at the end of this year because there's no content. I mean, there may be a Joker trailer, but you can't do it. So, yeah, maybe in 2025 or the end of 2024, there could be a DC fandom. That would be worth it. But, yeah, I don't think we'll see one for a while if we actually ever do see one. The Animate Who Loves, is the Keanu Reeves Constantine sequel still incoming, still coming out? They're working on it. Nothing's for definite there. Could happen. I would say that's another one in active development, like Tanashi Coates and J.J. Abrams' Superman of Color. Probably won't happen in the end. Abraham Herrera, there's only been two fandoms, and I don't think they were massive success. I think the first one was a huge success. I really do. And the second one was a bit more amateurish. But I think done properly, they can work. I don't think they're going to do them anymore. MSGT, DC fandom will be hard to maintain yearly. It's not like the Disney Expo where they cover Marvel and virtually everything else. Was 007, like the Man of Steel costume, but wish Man of Steel costume more bright. The Man of Steel costume is pretty neat. Yeah, I do like it. Trilogy, I wouldn't be surprised if they scrapped the Constantine knowing Warner Brothers. Well, that would be perfect for a DC Elseworlds. Doesn't have to connect to DC Universe. So, look, basically, as James Gunn said, the bar is going to be much higher for DC Elseworlds than it is DC Universe. So, if there's something to be done there and it works, clearly there's going to be a Constantine in DC Universe. Clearly, Constantine will be involved in the Swamp Thing horror movie as well. Was 007 MegaCon coming to Birmingham next month? So I think everything's looking good in terms of DC. I think that James Gunn has got some really good ideas, and we see if we can pull him off. MSGT, according to sources, Constantine 2 is still very much in the works. It just won't be DCU. It won't be DCU, never was going to be DCU or DCEU, always going to be an Elseworlds. Abraham Herrera, most of the all-time grossing films are under Disney, a couple from Universal, but clearly Disney has monopoly. Even the Avatar movies are owned by Disney. I think selling to Universal is a good idea. I think, look, what you're talking about there, Abraham, is pie in the sky, isn't it? Because we don't know. It's a rumor that in 2024, when they're able to sell, that they're going to sell it off to Universal. I think it'd be very, very sad to sell off to Universal. I wouldn't want to sell off to Universal just because they've got a good record in box office. And Avatar 2 would have made money, whoever owned it. Disney had nothing to do with that film. Cameron made that film with himself and his people. So, yeah, they do have a monopoly in the past few years, Disney. But I think that Zaslav's doing a fine job and he's making some good decisions. And I think they could get the monopoly if they do the right things. They certainly look like doing the right things with DC inviting the press for a press conference with James Gunn and Peter Safran was perfect. It's exactly how professional people act and how they didn't act before. Maybe that's why the DCEU had a lot of journalists against them. But I don't know if they're selling to Universal. But at the moment, they need to build up that company before they can sell it. But not something I would like to see. I wouldn't want Warner Brothers to be swallowed up by a monster. So, yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen. We don't know. Because basically, Universal is rumored to be buying everyone. So, yeah. Abraham Herrera, but I would also like to see some original IPs coming from Warner Discovery. I'm sure there will be. The history of Warner Brothers is in original filmmaking, and I'm sure they'll be doing that. Clearly, DC is a big deal for them. Potter is a big deal for them. They've got IPs. They need people in charge, like James Gunn, who understand the business and the creative side. You can't have all tours running huge IPs. It didn't work with DC. Did not work with DC. It's a business. It's not a charity. And if you are going to run a big IP, you have to understand you need to make decisions that make it money. With IPs, with mainstream IPs, you can't shave against the grain. And the DCEU, especially in the beginning, was shaving against the grain. Whether the films were good or not, it's not the point. Not about whether the films are good or not. Because shaving against the grain and you're pissing people off, you've got a problem. John James Gunn has said on Twitter that the 10-year plan is 2 chapters and there is an ending. Right. It's not just 2 chapters. It's not just going to be 2 chapters. He's talked about, he's probably only got the 10-year plan. The 10-year plan is probably 2 chapters, but it's not 2 chapters and that's it. Each chapter will have its own story, but I think one story will build onto the next chapter's story and maybe something bigger will happen. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be a chapter 3 and 4. At this moment in time, it's 2 chapters and a 10-year plan, yes. But it doesn't mean that's it. Reno Jack, if the end game is to sell to Universal, which we don't know that is, that could mean James Gunn is a pawn to elevate the brand value for the selling price. Yes, that will be a good tactic, by the way. But they do need to make money as a company. So we can't really say, oh, they're just trying to make money so they can sell it to Universal. They're making money because they're a company and they need to make money because that's how capitalism works, right? So that Universal thing is an off-the-cuff rumor and nobody actually knows if that will ever happen. Abraham Herrera, the only one I can think of right now is Nolan's Oppenheimer, which comes out this year, I think. Yep. Was 007 WB Discovery might sell Universal? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's a rumor that happened earlier last year, and you shouldn't really take rumors literally. There's a dozen of them, and it was at a time when Warner Brothers Discovery stocks weren't too well. It could happen. I'm not saying it won't. It's saying I don't want to happen. I want Warner Brothers to stay independent, and I think Zaslav will turn this company around. This company hasn't made real money for probably about 10, 15 years. It's been terrible because it's been run by bad people. Zaslav clearly understands what he's doing. DC Studios proves he knows what he's doing. Gunn and Saffron proves he knows what he's doing. So, and there'll be more IPs reignited as well, and original films. But I wouldn't, take that literally. Abraham Herrera. But think about it, Mick. The company to beat is Disney. None of the other studios can compete with Disney in their current condition. Well, last year, actually, saying that, Abraham, I don't agree with that. Last year, let's look at The Rise of Gru. Beat the Lightyear movie. Did better than the Lightyear movie. The Lightyear movie was a flop. But, and then you've got the Shrek character, the cat, right? Did better than Lightyear, a big success. People love it. So actually, last year wasn't a great year for Disney. No Marvel movie made $1 billion last year. So actually, it wasn't a great year for them. Wasn't a great year for WB either, but Disney have gone downhill since Iger left. Now, Iger's back now, but it's been run into the ground. It's not the same company it was. So now, Warner Brothers have been run badly. They've now got a CEO who knows exactly what he's doing, and he's trying to build the company back up. Now, this year's slate is from the other leadership. So, like the Barbie movie, disastrous decision to do a Barbie movie. Barbie hasn't been popular for umpteen years. Dumb decision, not going to work. But once he gets his slates in and they start commissioning their movies, I think slowly but surely this company will be built back up. So I don't think Disney are in the condition they were back in the Force Awakens days and when Pixar was peak. So I don't think Disney are the big hitters they once were. And I think Paramount, probably had a better year than Disney last year, especially with Top Gun Maverick. So, yeah. And also, the superhero thing isn't a trend anymore. So Disney have been riding the coattails. They spent so much money to buy a Lucasfilm. How much money have they made on Lucasfilm? you know? Reno Jack, the Lightyear movie is a disgrace. Reno Jack, my first thought about a lot of movies that come out is now, who is this for? Exactly. It's for the people who make them to spread their propaganda. It's about politics, not entertainment. Abraham Herrera, I guess you're right. Top Gun and other movies beat Disney. And this year we have Fast 10. So maybe this year will be a bad for Disney too. Well, they're not the company they once was. Now, I think Ant-Man and the Wasp will do very, very well because of Cannes. And whatever other Marvel movies are coming out. I think it'll be a better year for Marvel this year, maybe. And we'll see what kind of things that DC does. I'm not expecting record-breaking box office from DC this year, but you never know. I could be wrong. Interesting. Will the Marvel films do better than the DC movies? I mean, you'd think the Marvel movies would, but who knows? Interesting year. Interesting times in entertainment, because what they've done, they've gone so kind of propaganda-ish with their identity politics and ruined entertainment. And even now, all you hear from Disney is, yeah, representation is important. They never say entertainment's important. What did we hear from James Gunn yesterday? The number one thing is storytelling. Didn't mention representation. Didn't mention inclusion. Didn't mention the normal shit. That's because Zaslav ain't. Why do you think Zaslav really cancelled Batgirl? Think about why they actually really cancelled Batgirl. Now, Peter Safran's saying they will bring a Batgirl into the DCU eventually, but it won't be Leslie Grace. We know that. John, the boys beat Marvel and Star Wars in the ratings. Reno Jack, MCU is eating off of past accomplishments. The top spot is for the taking. Whereas 007, WWE Discovery are in debt. Well, most companies are in debt, but they are in a lot of debt. That's because of the previous leadership. They're trying to sort that out. I believe they will sort that out. Abraham Herrera, Universal has Fast 10 and Oppenheimer. Big year for them then. They're going to be successful. This year, and I'd rather watch those instead of Marvel movies coming out. Yes, I think they're more interesting, kind of good films. And I think people are moving away from... I think, look, superhero movies will always be there. I just think they're not going to be the peak trend. Nobody's suggesting they're not going to make superhero movies. Now, obviously, let's see what the DCU does and the Elseworlds does. I think they can still make money. But I think Marvel, it's interesting. This year will be interesting with Marvel, how the public are seeing it. And the animator who lost, I think the audience from Black Adam will watch Shazam and boost the box office. Yeah, that'll be interesting. That's going to be very interesting. I would assume that Shazam's probably a better movie than Black Adam. Like, kids and families went to see Shazam, the first film as well. So I think a good box office for them and a realistic box office could be around 550, 600 million. I don't see them making any more than that. Now, if they do, it's a fabulous result. But I don't see Shazam Fury of the Gods making $1 billion or anywhere near that. But 500 to 600 million is a win. I think this film cost a little bit more to make than the last one. I think this one probably cost 150 million to make. So they're going to need to make a bit more money than the first film. If the first film was more expensive, the first Shazam would have actually been a flop. Reno Jack, comic book movies might slow down as Hollywood moves towards saturating the market on video game movies. Well, I don't think they'll ever saturate the market there because there's no evidence that that's going to make more money. You'd have to make a really, really good video game movie for it to do really well. Now, obviously, they're starting to do that. There will always be superhero and comic book movies. And they will do games. Of course, they will be doing games. Like The Last of Us is a huge hit. And let's be honest, the first 3 episodes have been moving at a snail's pace. But people are watching it and saying it's the best thing ever because it's The Last of Us and it's HBO and it's Pedro Pascal. So, yeah. Whereas 007, I think the next thing big will live-action version of cartoons like G.I. Joe and Thundercat. Abraham Herrera, that's why I said Warner to greenlight original IPs because the trend is going that way. Superheroes will be there still, like you said, but Tom Gunn Pro audiences are hungry for something else. I think you can do, as a company, What we lost is variety and entertainment. When I was growing up, there was horror movies. There was the odd superhero movie, action adventures, action movies, 18 violent movies. There was a variety, psychological thrillers, biopics. We don't have the variety. It's not about doing more other things than superheroes. It's about having a bit of everything for different people and not basically having dead periods. I mean, last summer was dead. I mean, we used to have a busy summer slate, and we need to go back to that. I'm happy that Superman Legacy is released July the 11th, and it's a summer movie. That is exciting. MSGT is not going to slow down. The MCU is heading towards X-Men and Fantastic Four, and the new DC Studios is about to kick into high gear. Yeah, I don't think they're looking to slow down, but a few flops, and that could change. John, do you think the Super Mario Bros. Movie will make $1 billion? It's an animated movie, isn't it? I don't know. It depends how good it is. I mean, there's potential there. If it does, then everyone's going to be making gaming movies. Bat Super, DCU is coming at the perfect time. People are starting to get the MCU fatigue, and from the sound of it, DCU is doing something different. MSGT, original movies come out all the time. The idea that there is no originality anymore has never been true. Right, MSGT, listen to me. It's not about original movies not being there. How many times do you see the news on Twitter? Breaking news, we're rebooting this, a remake of this for a new audience. There is more old stuff being remade than originality. And there might be some original films, but the truth is the quality isn't good. And that's what people mean when they say there's not enough originality. Reno Jack, Horror Junior is dead at the moment. Every scary movie is a parody. It's a joke, especially the new Scream franchise. Joke. Waz 007, do you like Police Academy? Oh, I love Police Academy. You would never get away with that today, would you? The Blue Oyster, for example. Anyway, Waz 007, rumor that Police Academy get reboot. I can't see it. Because if you can't do what they used to do, I mean, it's not going to be funny. These people don't have the talent to do Police Academy. I mean, they were great movies. I know they weren't PC. I know they kind of crossed the line. But still, they were fucking funny. Was a rumor Mike Knight Rider film? Well, James Wan was involved with some kind of series on YouTube, which never happened. Reno Jack, the fact that they're making more Scream movies is a total joke. And without the beautiful Neve Campbell, absolutely sacrilege. I mean, they dumped her, didn't they? I mean, they wouldn't pay her enough money. And they're still they're basically making fun of their audience in their first movie. Look, I'm not interested. We are in an era of creative bankruptcy. We are in that era. This is not a good era for entertainment. The animator who laughs, these days you never know what will make $1 billion. Yeah, I mean, any old shit can make $1 billion. I mean, look at the Marvel movies. Waz Dubson, I like Police Academy films, so funny. They are brilliant. Everyone, I love them. Citizens on Patrol. Now, the police, I feel very, very fortunate. I grew up in 2 decades, really, where I was a kid, I was a teenager, and when I was in my 20s, I was very lucky with entertainment. I grew up with some great the sitcoms. We don't get good sitcoms anymore because of the PC, the politically correct culture. But I grew up with some outstanding sitcoms, brilliant TV shows, the soaps, movies. I was very lucky to grow up in the first 20 years of my life with some great entertainment. And unfortunately, with the extreme left bankrupt, hijacking the industry, it's gone insane. And what they're doing now is killing a beautiful industry. This isn't entertainment anymore. It's something else. And mostly propaganda. Reno Jack, the original Scream is one of my favourites, genuinely scare, but also has subtle, humorous dialogue about Hollywood. What I like about the first one is the actual twist with the villains in the end, and it was fucking twisted and brilliant. Wes Craven was a genius. These people ain't Wes Craven. These people shouldn't even say the name Wes Craven. MSGT, there's reason Hollywood looks to reboots out of the 80s. Yeah, but how many times have they, I mean, think about 1990s Cape Fear, which was a reboot, which is probably better than the original. That happens very rarely. But when you get talented people, Robert De Niro, Jesus fucking Christ, and Nick Nolte, but it's very rare for a remake to be better. And I know it's happened. Don't throw me, what about this one and that one? I mean, the RoboCop remake, what a joke. Waz 007, Only Fool and Horses, great. Oh, I love Only Fools and Horses. Waz 007, do you remember Desmond's sitcom on Channel 4? I do, but I didn't really watch it. Bat Super, the 70s to 2000s had such diversity in movies. Now, most stuff feels so similar. It's like going from a really colourful dish with all kinds of interesting foods to just eating rice and bread. That's exactly what it is for Bat Super. And it's hilarious. Look at every time you're on Twitter and you've got the variety, power of women round table. It's just for propaganda, and they talk about men in the industry and toxic masculinity. That's what your entertainment has become. They have ripped the fun. They have sucked the fun and the entertainment out of entertainment. I don't mind, representation in casting and things, but it's not about that. It's how they've politicized the whole industry. And it's a shame. Abraham Harris, Scarface was also a remake. It is indeed very rare. It is very rare. I mean, Scarface is a classic, and I think they're remaking Scarface. Good luck with that. Reno Jack, did you know that the party scene at the end of the movie took 21 days to film? I didn't. I believe it's still one of the longest ever to film. Imagine being in the cold and covered in fake blood for that long. Oh, yeah, these people really work hard. Forget the red carpet. To make a film, the actors go through serious shit. They really do. And I mean, they don't really talk about it. It's all about, the glamour and this and that. Once you've done it, you're relieved, aren't you? But yeah, actors are put through. They treat actors like shit. Let's be honest about it. Batsy, the Scream 5 was terrible. There is no Scream without Wes Craven. Basically, the last one they made was shit. I don't know about the others, but the last one they made was shit. And they were mocking the fans as well. They hate their own customers. They're a disgrace. The modern day industry is a disgrace. It's a bad impression of itself. And I mean, you just look at the Velma animated series, and that's all you need to know. And I call that hate speech. That's pure hate speech. Reno Jack, they made t-shirts at the end of filming that said, I survived scene 118. Wow. Waz 007, you will remake... Yes, we'll remake Scarface. MSGT, didn't Craven do the Elm Streets? Wes Craven did the first Nightmare on Elm Street with Robert Englund. And oh my God, what a film that is. I mean, I liked all of the Nightmare on Elm Streets. I mean, they became a bit ridiculous. How's that for a wet dream? But really funny and cool. But the first one is a proper good one. Really good, really good. Wes Craven was a genius. And then he did that one where actually Freddy was real, and he was haunting the actor who played Freddy and the actress who played Nancy, who was great, by the way. Running Jack, Wes Craven discovered Johnny Depp among others and put them on the map. Yeah, he must have done 21 Jump Street after Nightmare. I think, I can't remember which came first. I mean, Johnny Depp did well as a younger actor, a little bit, then went quiet. Then obviously he got a bit older and he did the Pirates movies, and he became peak Hollywood. But I'm afraid drugs and bad decisions ruined Johnny Depp. I mean, I talk about the Amber Heard thing all the time, and they're both fuck ups. He should have just had sex with her. He should never have married her. But they're obsessed with younger women, having younger women on the end of their arm, and then they get them work, and this is how it works. And then they dump them, they're treating them like shit. Where's 007? Do you like the Godfather films? I do. Reno Jack, Wes Craven discovered Johnny Depp among others. Oh no, I've read that. Godfather can never be redone. It should never be redone, but these pricks will redo it. Abraham Herrera, that poor woman in The Shining, the horror stories from the set, that goes to show you how actors can be great if they put themselves for it for real. Now, actors want millions but don't want to work. Oh, I mean, look, you look at them belly aching on Twitter. And I mean, it's just a different environment. They can't be asked to do anything anymore. You've got to be careful how you talk to them. Imagine it. It's not practical as a director to be nice to actors. I'm sorry, it's not. You have to shout at them sometimes. There's anger, there's frustration for a director and other actors. It ain't a walk in the park. But now, if you treat them in a certain way, you know, they bitch about you on social media. Reno Jack, Skeet Ulrich was cast in Scream as Billy because he looks like Johnny Depp. I didn't know that. I did not know that. MSGT, I think even Hollywood has a measure of respect for certain films. To this day, they have never redone The Wizard of Oz. No way they will do Godfather. They're actually doing a Wizard of Oz, by the way. They're doing a Snow White live-action movie, and they're modernizing it for a modern audience. They don't have respect for anything. They hate old-school Hollywood. They're against it, and they want to rewrite history. That's their favorite pastime. They, my friend, respect nothing. Reno Jack, what are your thoughts on the Christian Bale set freak out on DP during Terminator Salvation? Lol, one of the funniest things I've ever heard. It's funny, actually, because everyone got really surprised about it. But at the end of the day, that is the stress of making a film. And it was only, you know, people saw it. That was the surprise. It was filmed and people saw it. I wasn't that shocked. I think worse things happen on sets. You know, it's a stressful environment and these things happen. People have got different ideas. Sometimes they don't agree with the director's vision. You know, there's lots of different elements to making a film. And it's a very stressful process. So people do lose their tempers. So I wasn't that surprised, and I didn't even understand what the fuss was about, to be honest. Abraham Herrera, what was that movie with James Franco then? Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a Wizard of Oz prequel, wasn't it? Exactly. Reno Jack, did you watch the new Christian Bale Netflix movie, The Pale Blue Eye? Thoughts if so. Haven't seen it, but I've seen the trailers. I've been meaning to see it, and I always don't end up watching it. MSGT, James Franco was in prequel Oz movie. There was a Return to Oz in 1980. Michael Jackson did a black Wizard of Oz. I didn't know that. Won't be watching that. They don't listen, MSGT. They don't respect anything. They want to reboot everything and rewrite history. If they could, they would kick your door down and ban all your Blu-rays and all your DVDs for lack of representation or the way women were represented. Those carry-on films, if you've got carry-on films in your wardrobe, they'd love to fucking take your Benny Hill collection off you and your carry-on collection. We are living in an era of absolute fucking lunatics. This generation are too scared to even fight a world war. That's why they're fighting World War III in little Ukraine, because this generation is too busy on fucking TikTok. It's a mad generation. It's a mad era of people. Natter, natter, natter. No one can keep anything to themselves. You know, silly Zachary Levi talking about, you know, the COVID vaccine. Talk about it in your own house. Why did you have to say? People are so thick. There's no private thoughts anymore. Everyone wants to tell you what's on their fucking mind. People don't know when to hold back. Was Douglas at Bollywood had bad last year? Reno Jack, it's very dialogue-driven investigation with decent twist at the end. What's that? What are you talking? Oh, the film, yeah. That's super. Did you know Chris Terrio directed a movie back in 2004 starring Elizabeth Banks, Glenn Close, and James Marsden? Obviously, it couldn't have been that good because I've never heard of it. What was it? Did you like it? MSGT Hard. Benny Hill. I remember that. My mom hated that. I snuck those. Oh, we all love Benny Hill. All the young boys love Benny Hill. That was awesome. That was awesome. But of course, but what's funny now, they're all talking about, not perving on women when they're doing OnlyFans and they want us to pay to perv on them. Go on Twitter. They got their bits out on bloody Twitter. I don't even know how they get away with it. And they're talking about not making women objects and things. They're making themselves. It's all right when they're making money on it. The biggest this era of people are the biggest hypocrites in the world. At the end of the day, I'm a straight bloke and I appreciate the female form, and that isn't going to change. Bad Super, I haven't watched it yet, only seen the trailer, but I think it's looking interesting. The movie's called Heights. Waz 007, Carry On Laugh, so funny films, I don't think made time. Right, a few more comments, people, then I'm going to go. It's 10 to 11 here in Cyprus. Wow. Wow. It's been a great live chat. I've had a good time. Yeah, basically, people today just don't live in the real world. They live on social media where everyone should be held to account and everyone should be perfect and no one should make a mistake. It's insane. Oh, you said this once. Here's the screenshot. That ain't reality. People say shit. Get over it. We're all little shits. Get over it. Reno Jack, what are your thoughts on the first two Terminator films? Watched them back recently and it took me back to a better time for cinema. I think the first one is an absolute classic and the second one is fantastic. It's a really great two films. As you say, Reno, a better time in entertainment. And it's changed because the people making stuff are not pioneers anymore. George Lucas and Scorsese and all those people all went to film school together. For example, they used to recruit young guys and girls from film school. They don't do that anymore. They just employ the same directors, the same actors. Not many talented pioneers, if any, in the industry today. And it's very, very sad. Waz 007, I enjoy your live stream. Thank you. So the industry, as much as I love my movies and television, the industry has gone downhill. You see something like The Last of Us, and because the audience isn't fed any quality anymore, when they see The Last of Us, they go, oh my God, this was so amazing. Two men, they were kissing. It was so sad. It's like they've just seen War and Peace. I used to watch a show called EastEnders with a gay couple called Colin and Barry. We saw that kind of stuff every fucking episode on EastEnders. But they're acting like this, and they said this could never have been done in the past. It was done all the time in Brookside, EastEnders, and every fucking soap 20 years ago. And everyone fucking having an orgasm about two blokes having a relationship and killing themselves, right? But all it really did was distract from Joel and Ellie. We've barely seen Joel and Ellie ever on their own, bonding in these first 3 episodes. The whole thing is made on a snail's pace. I think it's okay. I'm enjoying it. Nothing special. It isn't as good as The Walking Dead. It's nowhere near the quality of Lost or Prison Break or any of these hardcore shows. I think TV, like the TV shows that were peak TV, was 2000 to 2010, pre-streaming. And I think shows like Alias, Lost, 24, Smallville, Prison Break, all these shows, even some others, were so much more superior than all these streaming shows and The Last of Us. Last of Us is so overrated. Reno Jack, Mick thrives in the chaos of the live stream. I always enjoy this format, sir. Pure entertainment. Thank you. I'm glad I'm entertaining you. As I watch EastEnders, not anymore. I haven't watched EastEnders for years. It's so shit now. I mean, I used to watch all the soaps. When I say all the soaps, I mean all of them. Dallas, Dynasty, Knots Landing, The Colbys, EastEnders, Brookside, Sons and Daughters, Neighbours. Neighbours is coming back on Freevee later this year. Very excited about that. So that's why I'm called Movies TV Mad, because it's not just about DC. I like a lot of shit. But unfortunately, we are in an era now where you hear about a project and you think in the back of your mind, it's going to be shit, isn't it? It's going to be shit. And then they start with their casting. You see the casting, or we're so proud to be representing these people. Blah, 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 blah. They don't talk about entertainment. They don't talk about their characters. And, you know, it was like when Jodie Whittaker was cast as the Doctor. Men, don't be afraid of me. I'm a proud feminist. You've just been cast as the Doctor. And that's what you've got to say. This is where we are today. There's an extremist movement that have taken over entertainment and they're sucking the fun out of it. And it's a shame. And this era will not be remembered for great films and television. Reno Jack, I enjoy when we chat about cinema outside of just comic book movies, but those are good too. Waz 0070 used Crush on Zoe from EastEnders. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. Very fun girl. She played the Bionic Woman for a season. She played the Lady D'Souza in Doctor Who. Right, everyone, we're going to wrap things up now. I've been here for over 2 hours. I've still got a can of cola to finish off. I only had half of it, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to check out the Man United score and upload tomorrow's video. We'll be back doing all this tomorrow night again, live. So make sure to check me out. Maybe some more, maybe some more developments with DC tomorrow. We will wait and see. So this has been Movies TV Man. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And I'll see you next time. Until I see you again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, MSGT. Laters, Mick. Laters, MSGT. Thank you, Waz 007. Thank you, Reno Jack. And everybody else, Ronnie Dodge, Bobcat, everyone who's been part of the chat tonight. It's been a good time talking to you, even when we don't agree, even when it gets a bit heated. It's all part of the fun. It's no hate, and there's no deep anything. We're here to talk about the shit that we love and we hate. Reno Jack, have a good one, sir. You too. Thank you very much. I shall see you tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. It's been fun. I love being on YouTube. It's great. You make it great. Thank you for being here. See you again soon.